Welcome back. This is going to be the review for homework number 17, for lesson 17, Inscribed Angles. I skipped question number 1 because that one required you to use a protractor and to measure the angle. And so we'll see in this case that the measure of the angle of the central angle is equal to the measure of the arc. And then we saw in this case that same arc was intersected by an inscribed angle, and that's half of that. So that was that part. Number 2, here we have in this case the measure of arc PRQ is 308 degrees. And so PRQ is a major arc, and so it covers this much of the circle. And so we're trying to figure out the measure angle PRQ in inscribed angle. And so the arc that's caught in the mouth of the angle is arc PQ, the minor arc. Now you're saying, well, the mouth of the angle. Well, here's angle PRQ. And so it's sort of looks like a mouth, and the part of the circle that's caught in between the two sides of the circle of PQ, that's what we're looking for. And we're going to find that by doing 360 minus 308. And that'll be, in this case, 52 degrees. So this is an arc measurement of 52 degrees. Now, if we're trying to find measure angle PMQ, that's 50 degrees. But we know in this case, the measure of angle PRQ is not equal to the measure arc PQ, but instead equal to 1/2 the measure. So for PRQ, angle PRQ, we'll look for 1/2 of 52, and that's 26 degrees. And that's why it's question number 1. Question number 2 is choice 1. Okay. Number 3, here we see in this case, we have a diameter, AB. How do we know? Well, diameter AB, because it's a chord that passes to the point D. So this is diameter, which would mean in this case, the measure of arc AB is equal to 180 degrees, half of the circle. And so we know we told angle CAB is equal to 32 degrees. So the measure of angle CAB, inscribed angle CAB, is equal to 1/2 the measure of arc BC. But to find the measure arc BC, we're just going to multiply everything by 2. And so we get the measure arc BC is equal to 2 times 32 degrees, which is equal to 64 degrees. And so before we circle 64, we're not looking for that measure though. The measure arc CB, this arc is 64 degrees, but we're now asked for to find the measure arc AC. And arc AC is this measurement here, which we'll find out by doing 180 minus 64. And that'll be 116 degrees. So the answer for number 3 would be the measure arc AC. Now, a very common error students do is they find a certain number and stop there. You have to really read the question. Okay, and it didn't say that AB was diameter, but you had to know that a chord that passes through the center is going to be the diameter, and it will cut the circle in half, therefore 180 degrees. Question number 4. In circle K shown, the measure of arc NPL is twice the measure arc NL. So here is the measure of arc NPL, and is twice the measure of arc NL. But the two arcs add up to the whole circle. So here, let's say, for example, the major arc is 2, let's call it 2x, and the minor arc is equal to 1x. Well, that would mean in this case, the two arcs add together are equal to 360, and therefore 3x equals 360, x is equal to 120 degrees. So we know the measure of arc NL is equal to 120, and the measure of arc NPL is equal to 240 degrees. Now back to the question. Which of the following is the measure of angle NML? So angle NML is this inscribed angle, and the arc caught inside of the mouth of the angle is arc NPL. So the measure of angle NML is equal to 1/2 the measure of arc NPL. Therefore, 1/2 of 240 is 120 degrees. So the angle measure is going to be 120 degrees. Now, here's the tough part. If you found 120 for by finding x and said that's the answer, you backed into it by accident. You didn't really understand what was going on. It's not going to always work out that way. Just keep in mind that we want to go back and show that the measure of inscribed angle is 1/2 the measure of the intercept of the arc. The answer is not as important as how we get the answer. Okay, so if we don't know how to get the answer properly, we might not be so lucky to get the answer, choice 3, 120 degrees, next time, because hey, maybe it's going to be different, right? Besides the x value you're trying to find. So I want to add this. I'll add this little warning that even though you find an answer, please make sure you use proper methods to find the actual answer, because again, how you find the answer is more important than the answer itself. Question number 5. Ooh, very complicated looking. So in the diagram, circle A, segments UV and UT are congruent. So little congruent segments. Okay, and if arc VST is 220, so arc VST is going to be this much. Then determine the angle of angle VSU, this inscribed angle here. So now no multiple choice to fall back on. But a couple of things. We learned in the last lesson that if two arcs of a circle are of two chords of a circle are congruent, here UV and UT, we learned that arc UV and arc UT must also be congruent as well. So what we can do is label this as X, both as X, and the measure of arc VST is 220. The 3 arcs make up the entire circle, so we're going to get, in this case, X plus 220 equals 360 degrees, or 2x plus 220 equals 360 degrees. 2x is equal to, subtracting 220 on both sides, we should get 140. Therefore, one angle measure is going to be 70, one arc measure is 70 degrees. So here is 70 degrees, and this is 70 degrees. Now, if you leave it 70 degrees, you're not correct, because you're not looking for the measure of the arc, you're looking for the measure of the angle. And angle VSU is an inscribed angle. Okay, inscribed angle. And so the measure of angle VSU is not equal to the measure of arc UV. Instead, 1/2 the measure of arc UV. So measure angle VSU has to be 1/2 of 70 degrees, which is 35 degrees. Please remember these inscribed angles. How do we know which one's which between the central angle and the inscribed angle? The goal is to look for where the vertex is. Our vertex of angle VSU is on the circle. So the vertex is on the circle. Most of the time, the angle measure will be 1/2 the measure of the intercepted arc. So in this case, inscribed angles, it should be, if you have an angle that's formed by 2 chords and the vertex on a circle, then it's called inscribed angle, and it will be, in this case, 1/2 the measure of the intercepted arc. Okay, so now